The only reason that I get to do this now is because I've actually organized myself for once and finished painting for Warhammer World. Normally, I'm like painting up to the last minute, partially because I hate painting, and second because like attention paralysis, not attention paralysis, decision paralysis. That's the right word on what I want to bring and like the different warbats I want. Right, like I have a habit of wandering. But everything's done. I decided like a month ago we're going to bring Skaven again. Skaven again. I mean, yeah, technically it's Skaven again, but it's a totally different Skaven warband than it was last time. I think it'll be pretty good. I think it'll be a pretty good event. I think we will do okay. It's a more swarmy, resurrecty Skaven warband than the old one, so I think it will be fine. We're going to be playing Tangled Knotwood 2 again at Warhammer World. Which, you know what, I've played this event several times now. I played at Warhammer World with the same event pack, with the same missions, like twice or three times already, which is kind of crazy. I really wish they would come up with something different. But you know what? If I'm only going to get to play Warcry like what 4 times in every 3 months, then I kind of have to take what I get. Is that for the Nullwood game? Yeah. So Warhammer Worlds do events quarterly. Actually, I lie. They tend to do events quarterly, but the last event that I went to was last month, and then they're doing one this month. So I mean, if there's any indication that the game is fine and Games Workshop think it's going to continue and be okay, I think the fact that they're doing Warcry events back to back is a really good sign. And on top of that, oh, look at that. It's a lovely green. And then on top of that, every single Warcry event that Warhammer World puts out sells out every time. I think the last event sold out in like a couple of minutes. So there is an appetite there for people to play Warcry. And I would always, if you can make it, if you're like in Europe or whatever, and you can make it to a Warhammer World event for Warcry and you love playing the game, I can tell you with no shame that they put on the best events because you have the setting, you're in Warhammer World, you have all the terrain, everything's there, everything looks good, everything's painted. It's awesome. I really, really enjoy them. I would recommend them to anybody. There was a time, I want to say, 10 years ago, something like that. Like, so I basically been going to Warhammer World for about 20 years in terms of doing events. I started playing 40k. This is 25 years ago. I fell into the tournament scene. Of course, doing events at Warhammer World. So you go up to Warhammer World, you do the event, you go with a bunch of your mates, have a good time. So I've been to a lot of Warhammer World events in my time. There was a time when I would say that the value that you got out of those events was kind of dropping. I'm happy to say that's gone up again recently. I mean, I think, in my opinion, it's gone up again recently. But it may well also be that I tend that for Warcry, they don't do 2-day events, which means generally the ones that I go to are a lot cheaper. And you know, if an event is cheaper, then you get more perceived value out of that. So for what they're doing now, I'm happy to pay the price. But yeah, anyone who wants to go to a Warcry event and has the opportunity to go up to Warhammer World, I would definitely recommend it. If you are worried that, oh, it's a tournament and people are going to be sweaty tryhards there, like myself, no, not like myself, and that you're not going to have a good time because you just really want to go and play a few games of Warcry, I wouldn't be worried about that at all. The reason is that when you look at the breakdown of events at Warhammer World, they get a lot of locals where it's like, oh yeah, I live in Nottingham, so I'm just going to buy an event ticket, I'm going to go, I'm going to play a few games of Warcry, and it'll be fun times. So the breakdown of the events that we have is very much like 20% will be actual people gone there with an intent to win the event. Then I want to say another 30% will be, no, not 30%, maybe half will be, okay, I'm going there, I'm just gonna play a few games, gonna have a good time. I've got my war band. I've got one, maybe two allies in there. It's thematic. It's cool. I'm not looking to win the event overall, but you know what? Something happens. Something happens. So that's probably half the player base. And then the rest of it up at Warhammer World is maybe like casual guys who just want to play some games. And they want to play the games like their one box war bands or what they have from Age of Sigma or whatever. They enjoy the game and they play. So it's not as super cutthroat as, for example, something like a 40k event or an Age of Sigma event would be, where you really need to go to one of those narrative 40k or Age of Sigma events to be able to play casually. So I really do think that even if you are the most casual of casual Warcry players, you can go to a Warhammer 1 event. And similarly, like Demetrios has been trying to push this also for UK Games Expo, you can go to one of those events and you will generally be able to have a good time. And you won't just get stomped. You play your first round, that'll sort you with like-minded players or similar ability players, and you'll be absolutely fine. So I would encourage people to go to them. At the end of the day, Games Workshop has very few metrics in terms of how well Warcry is doing on a global scale. Event attendance is one of those metrics. Warcry kind of has the problem that if I go out and buy an Ironjaw Spearhead for Warcry, that's an Age of Sigmar sale. So they have issues actually knowing what it is that people are buying. But yeah, event attendance will definitely be able to. It gives them an idea, at least.